Welcome back to the Badge Hunting Series, aka the Achievement Hunting Series. Is me, Burrito, and today we are doing all of the races in the game. This will earn us badge hunting racing, and we're gonna make this fun in two ways. Way number one, we're gonna see how fast I can do these given whatever I got on me, and number two, we're gonna see how long it just takes me to do it in general. All right, so the first race we have today is it's titled the Mos Espa race. There's no um, is there no description for it? No, there is. During the last decades of the Old Republic, pod races were on this track. This series is formed and controlled by the Hutts many years ago. Following the decline of the pod racing's popularity, this track was more or less abandoned by the Hutts. It was eventually taken over by a small band of swoop racers who used it to stage a regular series of semi-legitimate races. So for these races, I'm just gonna stick with the jetpack, which the jetpack's not a full stock jetpack, by the way. I did use the vehicle enhancement kit on it, so the max speed is up and the terrain negotiations boosted. If you want the fastest vehicle to do these, you're going to want to get a pod racer, but those are kind of a pain in the butt to get. And yeah, whatever, man. The pod racer doesn't let you fly over low things. I don't think I've ever actually owned one. It's going to take. I'm going to have a slight delay getting on to the mount, so maybe the jetpack's not the fastest, but it'd be fine. So anytime you see it, you see this race coordinator. You could always check the records for the current track, which right now I think Quadinaros with 9:25 seconds is not a real player. If no one else is ranked on the leaderboard for that week, I think it just randomly generates a name and spot. And then if you tell me about this track, this is the same thing that I just read to you off the wiki. Yeehaw. How do I race? Series of waypoints will appear one after another. So it's just if you've done the legacy quest and the Moth Entha race, this is the same. I like this track to try. Go! Alright, let's go. Woohoo! Waldo Flats. We gotta rush over to Waldo Flats. Where's Waldo? Easiest joke of my life. Now this is pod racing? Yeah, on a jetpack and not with a pod racer. So some of these locations are interesting. You'll notice that these races will vary in speed. Some of them don't take too long. Some of them take a hot minute. This one I think is one of the longer races. I think the Lok one is like really long, so look forward to that one, I suppose. Conversely, I think the Keren one isn't too long, from what I remember. I did do these races before when I did my May 4th, like 12-hour stream where I tried to do as many badges or collections as I could on other characters. So we'll see how memory serves. Obviously, I don't remember where these waypoints are, but it does play this fun little song while you're racing to amp up the stakes. The new capital city bridge coming into view, slowly loading in. Looks like we're gonna have to race straight through New Capital City. This might eat in our time a little bit with all these houses in the way, but you know what? It's all right. They provide good services. I'll allow it. All right, there's our next checkpoint. Now we're going to the notch, which, yeah, I guess a giant divot in the ground looks like a big notch, I suppose. It's cool that they have this race feature in the game, especially with, I believe it's the storyteller tokens. You can set up your own race coordinators, feed it your own waypoints, and have races set up for other players to run. But oh my goodness, there's 15 waypoints to this race, and that was only number 5. We're 1/3 of the way there. But moving to A to B in this game is not the most fun thing. I think I was having a conversation the other day about this. It might have been with Griffin Striker, or it might have been with Stream. But basically, the way I feel about movement in video games is that if moving to A to B on its own isn't fun because the movement in your game isn't the main feature of your game, then you should probably minimize that. Similarly, if movement is fun A to B, then because just you're moving around the map is inherently fun. Think of like, web swinging as Spider-Man. Then you're like, okay, cool. Let's keep doing that. However, movement can also be fun even if your movement isn't inherently feel good. So a good example of what I'm trying to say is, for those of you familiar with the Elder Scrolls, Morrowind specifically, when you were going to travel a long distance in that game, you had to appropriately plan your route and time it and supply for the journey. So like the journey itself was part of the adventure, right? You couldn't just quick travel to everything like you could in Oblivion or Skyrim or other, Bethesda games. You had to properly plan and go, and that was part of the fun because there was some challenge to it. But when there's no challenge to the travel, and there's not a lot of interesting things to see along the way, or if the inherent movement isn't that fun. What the hell is that? A memorial statue in honor of something? What? I don't know what the heck that is. Did a player place that? I can't stop. I'm in the middle of the race. I'd stop and check that out, but we gotta go. We gotta get to the whip. But, yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say before I got distracted by the statue was, if movement's inherently fun, good. If there is a challenge to the journey and there's things to discover along the way, good. But if you don't have either of those, maybe don't make A to B across planets a main feature of your game. So in Star Wars Galaxies, A to Bing isn't super fun. But so in like later versions of the game, they added a lot more instant travel, and Legends has added a lot of travel options to help minimize that. So this is all to circle back around to saying is the race idea is nice, but since the inherent journey of moving around the game and there's no real super planning to getting around the game, it was probably like not that hard of a feature to implement comparatively to other things. So whatever. You just remember going into the sky and falling wherever you wanted to go. Yeah, well, there's also flying. That's true. You can just meme fly everywhere. That is a thing. I mean, like, if you're not going to meme fly everywhere, yes, there is, like, the big taxi system and whatever. But I know what you mean. All right, so we're coming up in Just Shoot, which is leg 13. So my rambling helped pad out the other legs, which, by the way, we've been to Diablo's Cut, Beggar's Canyon, Desert Plain, Arch Canyon, The Whip, Jag Crag Gorge, Canyon Dune Turn. Now that's Just Shoot. Now we're going to the Devil's Doorknob, grody, but all right. We're at 339, by the way. Now we're going to the Hut Flats, which should be the last leg. All right, here we go. Now we gotta get to the finish line. Whoops, that's gonna eat my time. I had an auto run on and I hit the wrong key. Oopsies. Damn, I'm losing seconds. All right, we're coming up on the finish. Circuit complete. My time's 4:12. Am I on the leaderboard? I'm today's champion. Yeah, I like that. I like the confetti. It's fun. I got a miniature pod racer for that. Wow. Cool. They gave me a trophy. Who holds the current? I like to permanently erase my best time. Interesting. Current holder is Von Valima with 412. Wow, we did it. All right, that's the first one. Let's go over to, let's do Keren next, because why not? Can't call for pick up my ass. All right, so here we are with the Keren street race. Just like last time. Tell me about this track. The circuit will take you through winding through narrow... Wait, this circuit will take you winding through the narrow bridges and streets of Keren, and it is favored by the more technically minded racer. Focusing more on the finesse than it does raw speed, this course will definitely challenge your racing skills. Due to the dangerous street racing poses for pedestrians, the RSF does not approve of this activity, so participation's at your own risk. Let's do it. Vum's all about taking risks, as we've experienced throughout this saga. So right now, the GCW city invasion is going on for the city of Keren, and that's whatever. We're just going to race anyways. Let's just say it adds to the setting, right? All right, so we are going to have to be bobbing and weaving through a lot of narrow parts of the city. So I'm going to be using my overhead map to easily see the collision ahead of me, since all of these, like, brownish tiles kind of, lead together. And now we're coming around over here towards where the rebels start. It's like they are getting shot back here. Halfway to the finish line. Wow, there are fewer laps. Took a big, long turnaround there because I got a little... I thought that was going to go somewhere else, but double backed on me here. There's Riverside. This is always a nice, pretty spot of Keren. Right up here. Grab that one. I gotta go Falls Overlook. I do appreciate the effort that was put into having lore about the tracks, or at least like a hype piece for the tracks. Let's get to the finish line, though. Yeah, see, obviously that was much shorter than the previous one. Only 10 legs. Much shorter the distance. Whoa, today's champion. Whoa. Yeah, so the badges for these are not just completing the race, but being the champion, but these are not frequently done, so it's usually just show up and do it, and honestly, if it's not, then I think the leaderboards reset. If it's not every day, it's at least every week, so not too bad. Let's go do Corellia. Actually, no, let's go do Lok. I lied. Alright, so here we are at Nim's Stronghold on Lok. This is called the Lok Marathon, and you'll find out why here in a second. Tell me more about this track. This is one of the longest and most arduous races in the galaxy. Don't bother with it unless you have the time and stamina. The Empire doesn't come here often, so it gets a lot of use from snoopers looking for an illegal race. The trouble is, most of them do not complete the marathon. Beware of dangerous beasts, pirates, confusing mazes, and a very large active volcano. We're literally going to have to run across the whole planet. So, I'd like to give this track a try. Go. Here we go. Versus the Corsair Flow. I do remember completing this one and being surprised at how long it is. Let's see how many legs there are. To be fair, there might be a few legs in this race, but there would be very long distances. So let's see. This first one will give us an idea of what I'm in for. All right, here we go. 1 of 17. Yeah, that's a couple. So remember, everybody, from my getting around the galaxy travel video, vehicles go slower over water, even if they're vehicles or mounts that have a flying speed, like jetpacks, or creatures that can fly, like the Pico Pico. So if you are going to cross over, if you're going to be racing down towards an objective, you want to stay on one of these shores to go a little bit faster, and I'll give you a little bit more of a time save. This is not just advice for, ooh, do race faster, but also just A to B faster. So most commonly, this will come up during legacy questing on Naboo, where there's large bodies of water, like getting around Keren. It's actually faster to go over the bridges than it is to try and drive down a waterway most of the time. So in this case, definitely not running down the center of this river. We're going to keep following the shoreline all the way down to our next waypoint. It looks like it's near a player city setup, because that is a Tatooine cantina set up there. Not a player city on the map. They do have a terminal, though, so it's a small city. Am I gonna... Nope. Alright, now we're going into Labyrinth, which is the Great Maze of Lok, which you would have seen Vum go to during Nim's theme park, I think? Yes, pretty sure. Yeah, because we had to go there to deliver medicine to somebody's relative or something. So you'll know that when we get near the maze, it's going to forcefully dismount us, and I do believe that we are going to get dismounted, and then we're going to have to run through the maze. I don't remember the path, but I vaguely remember how to get to the middle, so we'll do our best. We do have our sprint enhancement stamina in pocket, so as soon as I'm forced off my mount, probably just pop that to get in and out as fast as possible, and if that runs out, we got Scatter in our back pocket for a little bit of extra speed, and I still have Acaragum going for enhanced movement speed. Either that or an Entertainer buff with Go with the Flow. I put the Entertainer buff towards more survivability, as I wasn't quite sure what I'd be getting into today with some of these collections, but the toughest thing we fought today was definitely that ancient crate dragon, and I think that buff probably helped out quite a bit, especially since I built it more towards survivability than raw damage. And with all that said, I'm still 3,000 meters away, and before anyone asks, No, I don't think you can get off your speeder and use an ITV to get there. I think you have to drive. I think if you I think if you travel or hit a load screen to like invalidates the race or something. I might be wrong, but I'm not. I don't really want to experiment with it right now. If I am wrong, please feel free to correct me either in chat or in the comment section, wherever you may be seeing this. I will always love getting new knowledge dropped on me, even when it's something hyper niche and specific as what you can and can't do during a SWG race. Ain't nobody doing races to correct you, right? Even surprisingly, even during holidays where you can set up storyteller like tokens for like the whole event, I've maybe seen like one city 1 year set up a race coordinator droid. I didn't do the race, but I saw it. I don't even know people who like do races in earnest. I know there are creature mount races that happen occasionally as events, where people will like race through a city using a creature mount, which is probably more technically oriented than the speeder because creatures have their galloping speeds. I don't know if there's a better or worse time to use the gallop. I just feel like as soon as the race would start, you just make the mount gallop immediately. But I don't know. I even forgot galloping existed. So back in that travel video I was talking about earlier, I didn't even mention it. Somebody ended up mentioning it in the comments, and I'm like, I forgot that was a thing. I just thought gallop speed in the datapad meant its normal top speed, but no. Gallop speed is different than its walk speed. We're out swarm faster than yours. There's probably different hidden stats for the stuff. I have no idea. Yeah, Beast Mouse rate would be interesting. All right, so we got forcefully dismounted. We're heading into the lock maze. We're going to try and speedrun this maze. Burrito says, as he already takes a suboptimal path, question mark? Zoom in the minimap. Zoom out the minimap. Zoomed it in too far. Too far, go back. For those of you like how he did that, if you hold down control and use mouse wheel, you could zoom the overhead map in and out. All right, we got it. Let's leave. Bye. Bye. I know there's a clicky there. I'm gonna hope that I got that before, and if I didn't, when we do exploring lock, I'll pick it up there. We gotta run back out though now. Yeehaw. I am. You can't tell me to look at the walls while doing this. I'd get so lost. It's much faster for me to just use the overhead map for this part. Like I'm doing it back on the kids' play mat at a restaurant. In and out before the sprint sim even wore off. Hell yeah, gamers. Speed. Nope, scatter. Speed. All right, next one is the Old Great Wall. I would have exited out of the south end of the maze if that was an option, but it was not. Okay. The Old Great Wall. Okay. I had the idea to actually make creature mounts for, like, giving away to guildies who want them, but then I'd have to do just a ton of incubation, and I'm like, I got other stuff on my list. If someone ever needs a creature mount, they're cheap, or if they can't find one that they want, then I'll do it, but I got other stuff I'm working on right now. Okay, that City Ziost has the you have the feeling someone's watching you. I know Sin City has that as well. How many player cities have that player city message? Should I change Seth Meta city message so you get the feel that someone wants to come up and say hi to you? Just something different. All right, we're coming up on the Great Wall. It's not that great, but that's 4 of 17, and we're already at 44. Oof. Yeah, this is definitely much longer. Stop so 9. You're having fun with Officer, but you truly enjoy some Jedi play. I know. Well, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, but since I'm starting this badge hunting, achievement hunting series, that's going to include badges specific to professions. So I am eventually going to have to become a Jedi. So that will be a thing eventually. I also think I might make a Jedi guide for, like, people starting to do Jedi for YouTube. That's much later down the list, but that's something that I'm thinking about. There's some other more general guides that I need to make. I've been noticing a lot of people asking questions about macros lately, like just basic stuff. I just kind of assume everyone reads the wiki page on macros, but that's probably wrong for me to assume. Like some people are like, how do you write a macro? Or I'm confused. I keep messing up macros. All right, there's leg 5 of 17. We're at 550. On to number 6, which is Mouth of the Beast. Oh, it's alluding to the volcano, which I am on a mount with lava protection, so I could just go straight through the thing. So long race, yeah. I believe the Lok Marathon is the longest race, and I think the Tatooine one I did, the Mos Espa one, is one of the longer ones. For reference, I started the races 25 minutes ago, so and we're almost halfway through them, but I think the rest of them are going to be shorter. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 6 races. This is the 3rd one, but I think I did 2 of the longest races first. Keren didn't take hardly any time. Hey, AFK group. Bye, AFK group. All right, this leg is 6 of 17. We gotta go to the east rim. Oh, this one's gotta be racing around the volcano. Well, I'm just gonna race over the volcano because I got that sweet jetpack home, baby. There are other mounts like the Mustafarian panning droid you could have. That's probably the cheapest lava protection vehicle. The desert skiff is one you get from Jabba's theme park on Legends, and then there's the lava skiff itself, which you of course get from completing Fate of the Galaxy. However, the lava skiff is one of the slowest speeders in the game with default stats. You're going to want to put a vehicle mod kit on that if you're going to take it seriously at all. But we're going to start moving on to location 9, which is Keren Highlands. We're at 619. This number, by the way, is in seconds, so that was 636 seconds. Now we're moving on to Spine Snake River. Love them spine snakes. I have no time frame on when I'm going to switch to Jedi. It will happen eventually. It's probably going to happen after I get a lot of group stuff done, because getting a group as Jedi is kind of ass. Not going to lie. All right, we're going to cut across this river here. For the answer, yeah, no problem, said Ian. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go back to Spy at some point, because I never finished the Tenebris's Edge collection. That's really low on the list, though. I think that's the only Spy-specific collection other than the Destroy Invasion Markers collection for City Invasions. I think that's a collection. That might be a repeatable one, but I said even repeatables I'll do at least once. Some of the worst collections that I'm going to have to do are the crafting ones. There's not very many of them, but there are some that are... Oh, craft this thing 20 times. Oh, also, you can only get it from a one-use schematic, so you need 20 of those schematics. Oh, also, those schematics require very arduous item grinds, which reminds me, Momo, if you keep farming Night Sisters, you keep looting like the beads. Can you give me those? I'm gonna need that for those collections. Here we're at Spine Snake River. Now we gotta go to Parlek Patch. Which it looks like that's... Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm gonna need like 20 or 30 of those things. Ugh. The collections I'm referring to when I say shitty crafted grind collection is the Beast Knowledge Cubes, which are all worthless now. The structures and Domestics Cube were worth it because of the fact that they gave you an extra experimentation point, but since they reintroduced diners, they don't stack, and they also give you the extra experimentation point, and they're not only infinitely easier to get, but you could always just, go in someone else's diner and craft. So there's really no reason to get those beast cubes, especially since they're all ass. They're all terrible. I forget what you have to do for the engineering one. It might be the IG-88 statue crafting. But the munitions one, you have to craft Stormtrooper statues, which those collection items mainly drop from Frosh Bunker. Guards, not all of the Frosh NPCs, just the guards, and there's very few of those. The Night Sisters are the ones who drop the beads. The structures one, you have to fish, and you have to get fish items. Oh god, Luckily, there's macros to have AFK fish, I think, so I don't think it'd be that bad, but ugh. All right, coming up on that one, now we're moving on to 13 to 9-day island. Why 9 days? Shit. All right, we're having to go across probably the only... Well, no, there's more than one, I think. One of the major lakes of Lok to come out to 9-day island, which looks like some players have made the homes at my swamp good one. Fun fact, that player's house isn't the only reference to Shrek on Star Wars Galaxies Legends. There was a city on Rory, the northwest corner, small city that I found while I was... I can't remember if I was looking for a spot where a city would fit on Rory, or if I was taming creatures, or both. There was a city up there small, and it was named Shrek Swamp. So, Shrek is life, Shrek is life. People do be saying that. I think we're almost done with the race. We're on spot 13 to 17. Or this is gonna be the 14th leg that we're coming up on. And you can see that we've made a big, like, loop. It might have us veer off in some directions, but basically made us go race around a volcano and go back. Are you doing SWG NASCAR? Kind of, but I'm not always turning left. So it's a little bit derivative. I'm having to turn more than one direction. Also, there's no tires involved. But basically, yes, I'm doing the racing collections. All right, here's the Grendon River. We gotta go to a Smuggler's Bend. I'll bend one. Gotta find ways to pass the time when you're literally having to drive down and back across Lok. I've spent a lot of time on Lok, I'll tell you what. Not all of it at the keyboard. A lot of it just forging. It reminds me, I needed to do more forging this week, but I was busy today, so I forgot to set it up. Oops. I should have more time tomorrow to maybe set up forging. Let me check my calendar here. My gamer calendar. Yes, I should, theoretically. Lots of sights to see. There's lots of, like, red dirt and sandstone structures. It's just Tatooine, but with more water. And less actual things on it. But that's why people like it more. We're at Smuggler's Bend. Finally over that 1,000 second mark. And then we gotta go up to Stronghold Boundary. Locks the Mars simulator. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's basically how they thought of Lok when they made it. They're like, what if we just did Mars? Granted, it's not as red as Mars, but you can see the inspiration, I think. I haven't looked at a picture of Mars in a while. The planet. Tell Elon. I'd say I dropkick Elon, but he doesn't even deserve that much from me. He doesn't deserve that much energy. I think the most I do to Elon is look at him and then just look away. That's all he wants is your attention. Just ignore him. All right, we're coming up on the finish line in Nim Stronghold. Yeehaw! My time is 12:20. Oh boy, am I a champ? I'm today's champ. Do. Wow, confetti. All right, that was Lok. Hopefully the rest are shorter. I say as my final words. Let's go to Corellia. All right, here we are in the Agrilat Swamp on Corellia. Let's learn about this race. Tell me about this track. This dangerous course was used for illegal races many years ago. Hot springs, deadly updrafts, and sharp crystalline underbrush make it a particularly hazardous course. Until recently, there haven't been many races here since the near death of a swoop jockey named Dengar. Yes, that is the same Dengar, that Dengar the bounty hunter. Appeared in this episode 5, was made of toilet paper. Well, he was this dude wrapped in toilet paper, but you know what I mean. If memory serves, it was a very exciting match between him and someone called Solo. And yes, that's a legacy plot where Solo almost kills Dengar in this race. They're both from Corellia, I think. I'll give this track a try. Go. All right. Let's not try and almost die like Dengar did. So obviously, this being a swamp, there's really not much in the way of avoiding the water, so just cope and go straight over it. There's just patches of water everywhere, so I'm just not going to even worry about coasting around it. There are a lot of these, like, columns or updraft areas, like where, you know, geysers might come out of that you can't drive over, even in a vehicle that flies. So if you start getting bumped around by something, that's what that is. So you do need to be a little bit more aware of what you're doing here. We got Zebin's Pass. Heading over to wait. No, we had to do Zebin's Path. Wow. Okay, we're hitting these faster. That's nice. Wynax Pass. Gotta go around these big fountains. I can really feel the speed difference from, you know, driving them out on flat, on not water terrain, and then having to drive over water. I can really feel myself get slowed down every time I do this. We're at 94, so we're a minute and a half now. Rasp Ravine. Where are the rasps? Maybe I'm going too fast. They don't have time to load in. Scrag Turn? What's a scrag? I'm sure it's a thing in Star Wars. It just makes me think of Skax from Borderlands. Or are they Skax or Skags? They're Skags, never mind. I'm not the biggest Borderlands lore nerd. That's not much lore I care for. I do it for the numbers. Love them numbers. Love seeing them numbers go up. This is the main fountain. Am I gonna get the point of interest if I don't have it already by going through here? Or maybe not. Going over this sulfur archway. Wow. Skags are those dog things from Borderlands. Yeah, there we go. I think they stick out of my brain because in Borderlands 1 especially, not only are they... well, technically they're not. They're the first enemy you see, like, in the opening cutscene, but they're the second enemy you actually fight. The first enemy you fight are the bandits. But then you see them all over the game. They're, like, the closest thing Borderlands got to having, like, a pet mascot. Is there a Borderlands social coming out? I don't know about the show, but there's a movie coming out, and it has some pretty major actors in it, so... like, I saw the trailer. I think I shared that in the Discord, like, when it came out. And I was like, wow, okay, this is real, and it actually has some pretty major A-list actors in it. I'm not good with actor names. All I remember is Jack Black is playing the voice of Claptrap. Which is fine, because Claptrap's voice is intentionally extremely annoying in the games. I wouldn't mind the voice. I wouldn't mind Claptrap's energy, but just, like, a less annoying voice. Again, I know that was the point of Claptrap to be obnoxious, but I like how one of the waypoints is called Dengar's End. Kind of morbid. Poor guy gets bullied. The reason I called him a toilet paper bounty hunter is because that's like one of the jokes in like the Robot Chicken, one of the many Robot Chicken specials on Star Wars. He like flies a toilet as a gag. Sorry, Dengar. Don't mean to riff on you too hard. We're complete at 263. That's way faster than Lok. I'm today's champion. Don't forget. Oh, by the way, don't forget to come, you know, click the droid when you're done with the race, or else it won't add it to your collection. You gotta do that. Part's important. Either way, let's go. Let's go to Narmle. We're off to Roy. Let's go to Roy. We finished. This swamp is making me feel like getting another swamp. You know what I'm saying? There's a flashpoint going on right now at Narmle. Okay, actually, we're gonna. the race might go through a active PvP zone, and I don't really want to deal with that right now, so we'll save Narmle for last. All right, we're actually here at Talus Nashal. Let's see, what's the lore on this track? Mostly this track has been used for recreation and youth races. Very few professional events have been staged here. The course primarily sticks to major waterways around Nashal, and therefore is impractical for mount or foot racing. On a hover vehicle, it is considered a delightful afternoon outing. I guess this is rating. They're trying to tell me this is rating easy. I have to give it a try. Go. Gotta go to the Narrows immediately, which, yep, right down the waterway. Despite me having questioning how much I do water racing versus staying on the shoreline, but I think shoreline is generally going to be faster still. Bye, meat lumps. Bye, meat lumps. All right, coming up on the Narrows, I'm going to have to cross over through the water to grab it, but I would not recommend riding the water all the way down to this. Crissa River. Yeah, it looks like we're just going to be following the waterways, which you can see Talos got a lot of water. So following the waterways still doesn't really tell me much other than that was 1 of 16. So, you know, the Agrilat swamp had a lot of legs, but they didn't last too long. So, you know, that doesn't mean this one's going to take forever, but looking like a moderately decent length. I think Keren might actually be the shortest one. Narmle could be shorter. We'll find out once we do it. All right, got that one. Gotta go to Virago Bend. Oh, sucks. I don't want to ban, like, links in the chat, because, like, people post things that are useful and whatever. But these bots lately have been getting aggressive again. And they're just straight up doing links. Those buy viewer bots. You can blacklist that site, not a mod. Yeah, it's just every time I see it's been a different site. It's not like the same site repeatedly. They probably just have a bunch of URLs mirroring like this to the same website. Blacklist viewers. That'd be an interesting one to do. Here's Virago Ben. Got that one. Garva's turn. You know what collection I am not looking forward to doing? Is the Hoth collections. I'm gonna have to kill so many Wampas, pick up so many meteorites, kill so many named NPCs. I'm not really hyped about that one, and that's all stuck in an instance that I like going once a day, and I'm gonna have to group up with 4 players every time I just want to get into it. That one's gonna be a pain in the booty. All right, we're on leg 7, heading to leg 7 right now. Snavkin Pass. And I'm gonna proceed to Jasea River. Looks like we're kind of following a river, but it's like behind the hill a little bit. All right, let's cut across here. Skirt. Q's Twist. You know, with all the overwater sections that it has in this one, I could see somebody, if they want to get real sweaty about it, figuring out the fastest A to B to this one and getting a time that is difficult to beat. But it's racing in Star Wars Galaxies. I don't really think that's many people competitive about it. Maybe you can find 1 person or 2 people, but I think most people aren't going to be interested. But if it is and it sounds exciting to you, more power to you. Not my cup of tea. All right, there we go. Another leg completed, leg 9. I gotta proceed to the TH Causeway. I'm assuming TH is short for something, but I can't imagine what. Talus Hills. Tidal Heights. Thirsty Hippos. Unfortunately, hippos are not native to Talus or on Talus. Lake Thorn is the next leg. You know, with all the hills and waterways around here, I am not shocked that I haven't really seen any player cities pop around here. There's not a lot of buildable room for it. But coming up on Lake Thorn, there is a strange fountain and box in the middle of the water for some reason. How do they get up there to put the fountain up there? There's no staircase up this box. Like, what? What? Alright, looks like after circling around Lake Thorn, though, we might be starting to head back in the direction of the race coordinator, which will be the finish line. Now we have to go rowing over to the Overlook after getting that one. 13th leg, F16, we're almost there. It feels like this one's taking a long time because of being slowed down going over water repeatedly, but it's only been 370 seconds. So this is significantly shorter than Lok still. I'd say this race is probably going to be a similar length to that of the Mos Espa race, so more, I'd say maybe moderate in length. I wouldn't say it's short, not like Keren short, but not too bad. Gimme, 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 gimme that. Then we gotta go down to Kima Way. What the hell is that? Just some random Talos Liberation Party members hanging out, having a good time with some arches, cool. Weird, but cool, I vibe to it. This is a cool area of the Talos map, though, with all these waterways and then hills and stuff. Too bad there's not anything out here. Player cities or otherwise. Alright, gotta crowd across to Deep Run, which will be one of the last legs of this race. Slowly making my way across the water here. Alright, there we go. Now we gotta go to Fed Dub Stretch. That's a good name. It's also a good reminder, everyone stretch if you haven't already. They should add a race to Mustafar. And just make you go around the whole planet. Just make it absolutely miserable. My frames! Alright, we gotta go to the finish line. That was the last, the Fed Dub Stretch was the last leg, so let's rush back to the other side of Nashal, which... You know, without a flying mount, can be a little awkward to get through with all the low walls, but I'm not too worried about it. There are some taller walls that I can't get over, though, so I do have to keep an eye out for that. But like this, like, whatever, dude. Think I'm gonna drive around? Nah, man. Time, 5:48, not bad. I'm today's champion. Wow. Alright, I got one race left. That's a... Narmle Rory, so let's see how that goes. Okay, so in Legends they have these pop-up PvP zones. I've talked about them before. They're called flashpoints, and they'll take over a section of the world map. Sometimes you can overlap with areas where you have a quest or something to do in. Unfortunately, the race is inside the PvP zone. But if I look at my factional presence, it's just imps. So I'm just gonna go in. See, and it even gives you a warning. I've never entered a factional zone as this character Vom. That's the first pop-up you'll get. After that, you won't see that pop-up anymore. But we're going to do a race. Tell me about this track. Legends say that this track retraces the route used by the local smuggler, Tren Velton, as he tried to elude authorities intent on his arrest. Weaving through the streets, desperately trying to lose his pursuers, he made it out of the city. Unfortunately, his escape was cut short due to a fatal collision with a flesh-eating Shuba. Since this time, many have made the run in his memory. That's a memey way to die, but alright. Eventually became a semi-formal track and thoroughly illegal street race. I give this track a try. Go, and I'm using the ATRT this time because if I get shot, maybe it gives me better odds of getting the hell away. ATRT has been modified with the vehicle kit, so, you know. Why is there a rebel? Whatever. I don't think having a jetpack in this area would be that much of a help anyways. I don't think there's a lot of low walls here. Yeah, there's some imps standing in the center. These imps are going to be like, hey, look, a random player. Are they here to PvP? No. Also, no, you don't have to go up on the overlook. You just have to get to the waypoint. Alright, now we're out of the PvP zone, but we're still flagged up to Special Forces, so we're still attackable. So if any Rebel Special Forces come up, they're gonna give me a hard time, okay? Especially since all my buffs wore off at this point, so I can't even get them a good fight. That is, if they're fully buffed. Keren's Lookout. Squall Patch is next. I don't even know if there's any squalls out here. Chuba Grove. I wonder if this is where that smuggler got by the flesh-eating Chuba. Got to race to the cloning facility. And then we gotta go to the finish line. Yeah, this is definitely one of the shorter ones as well. So not too bad. Good note to end on. Here we are, the finish line, 125, a little bit over 2 minutes. And I'm today's champion. Yeehaw! We did it, everybody. I think that's all the races. Let me start flagging down from SF and we'll check. Alright, so I think we completed all the races. Let's check it out in our badges section here. I believe it's in the badge section. Yep, here we go. There are the racing badges. Champion of Nashal, Narmle, Lok, Mos Espa, Keren, and Agrilat. And I'll put all of my best times up for those watching this on YouTube, right up here on the screen. If you do these races yourself, let me know your times, whether you beat me or you don't. Either way, it'd be appreciated to know. And next time on the Badge Hunting series, maybe we'll do some more exploration. Maybe we'll do something like this, where it's a nice little combination of all similar things. But thank you very much for watching again. See you next time.